Hey guys, this is just going to be a video about my pregnancy experience when I was pregnant with Caydee. So let's go ahead and get started. I found out I was pregnant with Caydee when I found out in March 10th to be exact. And the reason why I know the exact date of when I got pregnant was because um, I was actually in Lake Tahoe for my sister's wedding. And we live here in Texas, so we had to fly out there, get a rental car, and it was March, so there was still a lot of snow on the roads, and it was like winter over there. Over here, it was summer. It was like winter in Tahoe. And I just was not feeling well. I mean, the whole time. And even Daniel, he wasn't feeling well either. And so we'd go and we would get really hungry. And then when we'd go out and eat, when we were trying different places, once we got our food, we would barely eat any. And then it was just like my appetite was gone and Daniel's appetite was gone. And he thought we were just maybe homesick. And I was like, I don't think that's the problem. I mean, I grew up in California, so I don't know why I would be homesick. But I mean, that's what he thought it was. And then, yeah, so we got there on a Thursday night, so that we could just have kind of be there by ourselves that night. And then Friday, like in like midday is when all the rest of our family was going to go down for my sister's wedding. And my sister lives in Hollister, so everybody that was going to the wedding had to travel to Tahoe. So we were there by ourselves, and then we were there with my sister. On Saturday was her wedding, and so the next day was Sunday. And it was really cool because they everybody was already leaving on Sunday to go back to wherever they lived, and for work and stuff like that Monday morning. Well, my sister was staying until Monday, and so were we. So it was really cool because on Sunday everybody kind of left, and I just got to have my sister to myself because I hadn't seen her in a couple years. And so, it was really cool to just kind of hang out with her husband, and her family, and it was just me and Daniel. And Allie, she was actually out on spring break, so she was out with her cousins in Texas, and we just went to Tahoe by ourselves. So when on the last day, Candy, she had to get a few things at the store, and so me and Daniel, we said that we were just going to go and get our stuff ready and pack because we were leaving really early Monday morning. So when we were going, and I said, I still don't feel well. And he was like, yeah, I haven't been feeling well either. And so we went to go, and I said, you know what, let's go buy a pregnancy test. So we did, and we went up to our hotel room, and I just took the test, and right away it said pregnant. And I was like, wow, okay. And then I was like, Daniel, it came out positive, I'm pregnant. And he was like, oh man, I knew it, I knew you were pregnant. And we were both, I was kind of shocked, because it hits you all of a sudden you just went from not being pregnant to pregnant. It's kind of like a weird feeling. But, we were both excited. And, I mean, after that, Daniel's sickness went away. And he was fine. He was able to eat. And I was like, oh, so I guess, maybe it was telling him something. Because after that, right away, he was just better. So it was pretty cool. And then, hello. Sorry. And then, I'm looking at my notes. Oh, yeah. So then, anyways, of course, we told my sister, but I told her not to say anything because I wanted to get back home here to Texas and, kind of go to the doctor, confirm everything before I tell anybody else. So, right when I got home, I just called my doctor's office, and I said, that I wanted to go in and take a pregnancy test, because I had already taken some home pregnancy tests. Well, in Tahoe, I did take two, I took both boxes. So I did one, waited a couple of hours, and then did another one. So that was already two positive pregnancy tests, and I wanted to get, doctor's confirmation. So I did go into the doctor's, and he confirmed it. So, and he did take a sonogram, so we did have all of that. And so that's how we confirmed it. And then my mom, she actually we only stayed there until Monday, and Monday we actually came back home to Texas. My mom, she left Lake Tahoe, but she still stayed with all her family in Hollister for like another week, I think. So I did pick up my mom from the airport when she flew back home, and then I told her, and it was just super exciting. And this pregnancy was completely different than my pregnancy with Allie. I pretty much, like, I mean, obviously, we started off feeling sick, and I stayed that way. I was so sick all the time. I was so nauseous. I mean, not to where I couldn't eat, but I was always nauseous all the time, morning, day, not really at night, but morning and day, almost every day, probably until 5 months, 5 or 6 months, around there. I had it for a very long time. It was completely different because with Allie, I remember feeling really good, and I didn't really have any symptoms other than being pregnant. And this one, any symptom, if you read any type of baby book, and it says that you can experience these symptoms. I think I had it, everything. And I started showing really early. I know that people say that with their second pregnancy you start showing earlier because your skin's had already been loosened up from your first pregnancy. So I did start showing earlier, and I felt so big right away. And so that was another thing, like I felt heavy where I didn't feel heavy with my first pregnancy, and this one I did feel heavy. I also I never had energy, and I was always so tired. I could not do anything after where I would eat. And one thing that I really like to do is I like to go to the mall, maybe have a little, have lunch, and then go just walk around, see what's out there. I could not do that when I was pregnant. I mean, I would try to, and I would eat, and then I'd go walk around, and I had no energy. I would have to stop and sit down and just really catch my breath. I mean, I would be out of breath, completely out, oh my God, as if I just worked out, like that. I mean, it was terrible. And I even remember one time, I don't know what I was shopping for, and it was just me and Allie. We went to town, and when I think we went to Kohl's, and we were in the middle of Kohl's in the baby section. I don't know if I was shopping for for Caydee, or if I was shopping for another baby shower, or for my sister's kid. I don't know who I was shopping for, but I was in the kids section. I remember that much. And I just was so tired, so tired and out of breath. I had to go to the fitting rooms, because right outside of the fitting rooms they have these nice couches, and I just had to sit there, and I started to feel dizzy when I was shopping, and so I actually had to sit down and kind of take a breather, drink some water. It was terrible that I've always felt so tired, so out of breath. So yeah, so that was just something I wasn't used to. I'm not used to just staying home and relaxing. Not my thing. As far as cravings, I don't remember having any cravings with her. I don't really think I had any cravings. I had a lot of heartburn every day, all the way up to the end, and I always wanted, I love to get Quiznos sandwiches, and with a lot of Chipotle in it, and so I couldn't get it. So I guess I wanted it, but I mean, I wasn't craving it. I would not eat it because it was just giving me major heartburn. And that's pretty much it. That's how it was. At 21 weeks, I did have a scare where I started having contractions, and I was in the hospital for 2 days. And they said that I did have a fibroid on my uterus, and so they said that sometimes that fibroids hog up some oxygen, and that you need to be careful with your babies, make sure that I was resting a lot. And that was also news I didn't want to hear, because I don't like to rest. I don't like to just be at home sitting down doing nothing. That's just not me. But I did have to start. So after I came home, I had about a week off from work because they told me that I had to have bed rest until I saw my doctor, and he was on vacation and he wasn't coming back for a week. So I technically had to stay out of work for the whole week, and I mean, I liked it. I did have, it was kind of spontaneous for work because they were like, hey, all of a sudden you're just not coming in. But, they understood. They were like, yeah, don't come in until you see your doctor, until he tells you what's going on. So they were understanding, but I did not want to be out. I wanted to go to work because I don't want to just be at home. Then the rest of my pregnancy went along really well. I did still have all the symptoms, but other than having to be hospitalized and stuff, no more of that. I did have that one time, and then that was it. And then around 36 weeks, it was 36 weeks and 3 days, and it was a Tuesday morning. It was 1:45 to 2 in the morning. That's when Daniel actually gets home from work because he works at night. So he was actually getting home from work, and when he got there, I felt like a jolt in my stomach, and I thought it was really weird. It just felt weird, but I didn't think anything of it. But then about 8 minutes later, I had a really strong contraction, and I didn't know, with my first pregnancy, if you've watched my pregnancy story with Allie, you would know that I had her very early at 31 weeks, and so I've never experienced a contraction. I've never experienced having to push, having to do anything, and she was a C-section because she was so small, and so with this one, I was getting really strong contractions, and I didn't know what to do. It was like, and I'm 27 years old at this point, but I still didn't know what to do because I hadn't experienced it before. So I was feeling it. I started getting contractions every 8 minutes, and Daniel was, he was like, well, what do you want to do? And I really wasn't sure, but they started to hurt really bad, and so I did get up because I said, you know what, we better go and get it checked out. And I did get up, and Daniel got Allie up, and he got her ready because we were going to go drop her off at my mom's house so that we can go to the hospital and see what was going on. And when I got up to change into, clothes, because I was in my pajamas, I was asleep at that time. So when I got up to change and I used the restroom, and a lot of fluid came out, and I did have that experience from when I was pregnant with Allie. So I said, you know what, my water broke because it's and he's like, already, like your water would have broke already? And I was like, well, it did, because I sat down and it's just all coming out. So we dropped Allie off at my mom's, and then we went to the hospital, and I was registering. And it went by fast because I had already been in there before with my other contractions, so they had all my information. And then I know that was the main, since it was at night, I had to go in through the emergency room, and then when they take me up to labor and delivery, and then it's so funny because they're registering you. They're like, are you in any pain right now? And I'm like, really? And I couldn't even talk to them because I was getting a strong contraction, and they're like, okay, we see, and then when I was in the hospital, they were asking me if I wanted any pain medication, and I told them yes. And then it had already been about maybe half an hour, or at least to me it was half an hour, because I was in pain, so it could have really not been that long. But I was in a lot of pain. I mean, I didn't even know what to do with the contractions, and my mom, she had actually ended up taking Allie to my aunt's house. And it's because my mom wanted to go to the hospital too, so she dropped Allie off at my aunt's house, and she was there at the hospital, and she's like, Brandee, you need to breathe and just calm down, and I really just didn't know how to handle this situation, and then I asked the lady, the nurse that came in, and I said, I thought I was going to get some pain medication, and they were like, oh no, we checked with your doctor, and you're going to have a C-section, so right now, he's already on his way. When he goes in, you're going to get that spinal, so we can't give you any medication because you're going to get that. And I was just like, oh my goodness, so I have to stick with this pain until the doctor comes. And I mean, I just could not. And the thing is that I did have a C-section before. So sometimes I think that, because all of my family, they would say, Brandee, it was the very beginning, and you were in so much pain, you know, you must not be able to take pain well. And I'm like, I think I can. I don't know, but I also had a previous C-section, and I kind of felt it painful right there at the C-section cut, or the scar, where my first one was with Allie. And so I was thinking maybe that was what was the real pain, was that I felt it kind of really tight in that spot. So, you know, yeah, I couldn't take the pain. It was just too much. And then so it was actually, I think everything went by though pretty fast, because it was about 5:15 when they wheeled me into the operating room, and Daniel and my mom were able to go in there with me. Well, actually, they said one person, and my mom was, you know, since it was still very early in the morning, and my mom, she asked the doctor. The doctor was like, if it's fine with the patient. And so when the nurse, the surgical tech, actually, she was wheeling me in, and she was like, did you really want your mom there? Because I know, like, you know, we could tell her no. And I was like, no, that's fine. She can come in. You know, they're just going to be right here anyways. And I had that big old sheet up in front of me, and me on the side. And so I was actually happy that they were there. And Daniel was holding my hand. He was taking pictures. And, you know, they hooked everything up. And then when I felt everything again. And with Allie's pregnancy, I believe I fainted. And with this one, I was like, no, I'm going to be strong. I'm prepared. I know what it's going to feel like. So I was able to, you know, feel everything again. But I was able to take it this time, and I did not faint. However, I did cry, and because I could feel them working, and I was just talking to Daniel. He was here at my head, and then all of a sudden I feel like all the wind was knocked out of me, and I was like, you know, and I didn't have a full breath, so I guess I felt like all the air was just knocked out. And then my anesthesiologist, he said, it's okay. That's what's supposed to happen right now, because they just taking the baby out. They're taking the baby out right now. And then all of a sudden, I heard her crying, and, you know, I think with the whole out-of-breath experience, plus her crying, and it made me cry, and I got so emotional, and I just kept on crying. And then they brought her around, and we took pictures, you know, and I was still laying there, but, you know, she put the baby next to my head, and, you know, we took pictures, and it was so great. She was born at 5:45 in the morning, and she was 6 pounds 9 ounces, and she weighed, she was 18.5 inches. So that is pretty much it. You know, after that, Daniel was they took the baby to the nursery. So Daniel went with them, and my mom went with them. Everybody followed the baby, and I was just there. You know, they had to close me back up and everything, and then I had to go into recovery for an hour. And yeah, so that was my pregnancy experience with Caydee. So different from my experience with Allie, and I had gained so much weight. And you know, I believe when I had her, when I was in the hospital, I weighed 178 pounds. That's a lot. That's a lot. And right now I've been working out. I had her in October, and right now it is, why can I not think of the date? It is April 3rd. So it's already been almost 6 months. She's going to be 6 months on April 15th. And yeah, so right now I think I'm at 145. So I mean, I feel like I haven't really lost that much weight, but I am working on it. So I'm actually going to go ahead and post a workout, not a workout, but like a fitness type video, just to kind of let you know what my plans and goals are for myself. And so yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this informational video about Caydee. And if you guys have any comments, go ahead and leave them below. Thanks. Bye.